Okay, when you're ready.
I was half asleep on the slopes of a very active volcano after a long day of monitoring its activity. I purposely left the fly off my tent so I could keep an eye on the volcano in case it decided to erupt during the night. Around 3 a.m., the volcano came to life. With a thunderous boom, it explosively spewed ash into the sky and triggered an avalanche of hot, glowing rocks down its slopes, as you can see in this photo. Not only are volcanoes dangerous to study, they can have devastating effects on landscapes, property, ecosystems, local and international economies, climate, and most importantly, human life. My research uses the chemistry of volcanic rocks to determine the source of magma, which helps us understand what triggers volcanic activity and prepare for future eruptions. I'm particularly interested in volcanoes in Turkey because little is known about these volcanoes and if and when they'll erupt again. Turkey is one of the most geologically active places in the world. For several million years, Turkey has been sandwiched in between Arabia and Eurasia, primarily due to the collision of Arabia from the south. In response, Turkey is being squeezed out to the west, which is causing its crust to spread apart. The collision also resulted in large mountains, high plateaus, devastating earthquakes, and widespread volcanic activity, represented by the red triangles. We don't normally expect there to be volcanoes when thick continents collide, but in Turkey, volcanoes are common. So my team sought to answer two questions. One, why are volcanoes in Turkey? And two, will these volcanoes erupt again? In order to do this, we spent months in the field collecting volcanic rocks from various volcanoes throughout the region. Back in the lab, we analyzed the rocks to determine their chemistry and calculate their age. What we found is that volcanoes in Turkey are very young, and the magma that feeds them came directly from the mantle and rose quickly through the crust. As a result of my research, we found that volcanoes in Turkey are a product of the crust spreading apart. In normal conditions, thick crust prevents the mantle from melting and rising to the surface. However, in Turkey, as you can see in Figure 2, where the crust is spreading apart, magma from the mantle can more easily rise to the surface through fractures and faults. This is what we think is happening in Turkey today. Many of these volcanoes are adjacent to unsuspecting cities and communities, as you can see in this figure, and they're in harm's way. My research has been important to identify these volcanoes and assess the risks they pose. With this in mind, I can't recommend sleeping on the side of one of these volcanoes. Thank you.